Hello, good evening everyone. So tonight we will have a of our Prof Ed rationalization. So we will proceed now on the second half of this second set of the questions that we are answering. So I hope nakapag-recharge and nakapag-gain na po kayo ng energy ngayon. Good evening po. So, gusto kong sulitin yung weekend ko, kaya kahit gabi na. So, tapusin natin yung kalahati ng set ng questions. So, let's start. So, for question number 26, we have the question: for maximum interaction, a teacher ought to avoid blank questions. Is it A, informational, B, rhetorical, C, leading, D, divergent? So again, I hope you are already listening. So allow me to repeat the question. For maximum interaction, a teacher ought to avoid blank questions. Is it A, informational, B, rhetorical, C, leading, D, divergent? So feel free to comment your answers. Good evening, Ma'am Jacqueline. Okay. Good evening po. Sige, hintayin tuloy natin sila. So, kanina natapos natin yung 25 questions and the remaining 25 questions will be rationalized tonight. Good evening, Ma'am Lorena and Sir Wilfred. Ma'am Jasmine. Tapos na po ba kayong mag-dinner? So, let's make... Wow, si Ma'am Jasmine. Hindi po natin, Ma'am Jasmine. Yan. So, nagsisimula nang dumami yung viewers natin. So, sana po no, okay na yung weather sa inyo. Sa amin wala nang ulan. Tumila na yung ulan ngayong gabi. Kaya, all good evening, Joanna. So, let us all, kasi masama pa rin yung panahon. Magandang gabi, Ma'am Michelle. PowerPoint. Okay. hindi makita. Hindi makita. Wait lang po. Ayusin natin yung setup natin. Yes, nawawala-wala pa rin po yung signal. Siguro hawakan ko na lang po ulit ito. Kapag i-flash ko yung yung questions. Anyway, since this is not a formal session and you're just at home, you can have your dinner while watching. Para po, 'di ba, bawal tayo malipasan ng gutom, teachers. Wow, nag-alarm pa talaga si ma'am para sa 7 p.m. Thank you po. For instances na ganun, kapag nangyari na nagtitake kayo ng let then inabutan kayo ng gutom, I advise you to bring snacks like yung dry lang kasi para hindi delikado yung papel na shade natin. Oo nga pala, naalala ko kanina, may nag-comment kung paano mag-shade. So, ang technique ko kapag nagsi-shading teachers, mga ka-pretty, is nagsisimula ako sa gitna. And hindi masyadong matalas yung pagkakatas ako sa pencil kasi baka mabutas yung papel. Sakto lang. So, wag masyadong madiin. Sakto lang. Tapos, paikot, pabilog. Magsisimula sa gitna hanggang sa dun na sa, para masagad yung sa may outline ng circle. Hindi pala siya masyadong mabilog yung yung sa left answer sheet na si shadean. Medyo rectangular siya na walang kanto. Na maliliit lang din. Kaya be careful. Kaya pag hindi pa kayo sigurado, wag nyo munang shadean yung sa answer sheet. Sa booklet lang muna kayo. Kaya nga katulad ng items na yon bago ako mag-shade. And kung magbubura naman po kayo, halimbawa papalitan nyo talaga yung sagot nyo kasi na-identify nyo yung mali, siguraduhin lang po natin na hindi mabubutas yung papel. And yung darkness po ng pencil, dapat wala na siyang marka doon sa dati nyong sagot. Kasi mababasa pa rin yung shade na yon kapag black pa rin siya. Third year BE Ed student here po, pero board exam na yung iniisip ko. Okay lang po. Isang taon na lang naman, sir. Then, gagraduate ka na. Actually, sa amin, sa Bicol University, pagdating ng fourth year college, major subjects na lahat ng subject, meron pa namang isang Prof Ed and yung field study na. So, at least nare-refresh mo na ngayon yung mga concepts na na-take mo sa Prof Ed doon sa early years. Mare-recall mo na siya. Diba? Wow, ang aga ng preparation naman no ni Sir. Ni Sir Wilfred. Mas okay po yan. Pero para sa akin, kasi nung hindi pa, naniniwala talaga ako sa law of readiness ni Thorndike because during my time, when I was just in fourth year high school, pinapabasa sa akin ni Tito yung let questions kasi nagre-review siya, wala akong naiintindihan. So, ibig sabihin hindi pa ready yung mind ko. So, kung hindi ka pa sir ready para i-take yung content na 'to, 'wag mo pong pilitin. But reading is the key. And gusto ko po palang i-emphasize sa inyo na yung dina-download ko po na application sa phone kasi bago ako nun matulog, nagbabasa pa rin ako ng Prof Ed question sa phone. And libre lang naman po siya sa Play Store. Then mag-appear po, magno-notify po doon sa phone nyo kapag nag-answer kayo kung tama or mali yung sagot ninyo. Din nako-correct po siya agad. Parang nagra-rationalize na lang din kayo niyan. May tanong po kayo with regards to lesson ngayong 2021. So, magiging okay po yung situation natin ngayon since may pandemic and hindi inaalaw yung face to face. Hindi pa po natin sigurado, depende pa sa changes kung bumaba yung cases ng COVID-19. Then possibly pwedeng magkaroon ng exam. If not, it's okay. At least you have the longer time to prepare. You can you can access the PRC page po para sa announcement kung magkakaroon ba ng let or hindi. Yes. Of course po naman so if we are fresh graduates eduk students, our goal is to make the let, to pass the let first and last. Lagi naman po 'yan so my goal during that time is to really pass the let. Kaya right after graduation, bago pa pala kami gumraduate, meron ng sila ng sa review center. Nagano talaga agad ako kila mama na magre-review ako graduation kasi ayoko sayang yung oras. Kung fresh graduate po kayo, wag niyo nang sayangin yung time. Mas maganda na mag-take na kayo ng let kasi fresh pa lahat. Sige po Ma'am Jacqueline, i-access ko po mamaya. Phone po kasi yung gamit ko ngayon. So, nahihirapan po ako na mag-access at the same time sa Messenger and dito po sa YouTube, ma-disconnect po ako. So, mamaya ko na lang po basahin yung PM mo, Ma'am Jacqueline. Good evening po, Sir Well. So, kung meron po dito mga first takers, aim it that the moment that you take the let, that will be your first and last. So, sa preparation ninyo, ibigay nyo na lahat. Kesa uulit, 'di ba? So, pero sa mga hindi po pinalad at hindi na first time mag-e-exam, so, siguro po may kulang sa ginagawa ninyo, So, sabi nga, study smart. You can acquire techniques po. Sir Ruel, hindi ka pa po member ng GC natin? Good evening, Teacher Leka. Actually, ang gumagawa po ng GC is si Maestrong Bicolano. Inad niya lang din po ako. Kaya yung mga nag-message sa akin kanina, finorward ko na kay Sir. So, siya na po ang mag-a-add sa inyo. And, isenend ko na rin po sa kanya yung slides. Eto, kasama to ngayon. So, ipo-forward niya na lang din po sa inyo. Good evening, Ma'am Lani. Actually, hindi lang naman po sa lahat makakatulong 'tong session na 'to, eh. So, if meron sa inyo na nagpa-plan na mag-exam sa civil service, so ano na 'to, mind exercise na 'to, training na 'to para sa mind, to think critically. Awang Datu sa Mindanao po ba 'yan? Ma'am Nasir, tama po ba? So, pagpasensyahan niyo po kung mali po yung pagkaka-pronounce ko ng name niyo, ha? Yes, Ma'am Jenny, you're welcome. Sabi ko nga, sharing is caring, and as I share more, I learn more. So that's why I'm doing this. So let's start. So let me read again question number 26. Okay? So are you ready, teachers? Are you ready? Nakapag-recharge na ba kayo? Diba meron pa tayong background music? Naririnig nyo kaya yun? So, ayan, ready na. So, let me read the 26th question. For maximum interaction, a teacher ought to avoid blank questions. Again, for maximum interaction, a teacher ought to avoid blank questions. Is it A, informational, B, rhetorical, C, leading, D, divergent? Okay, you have 2 minutes to answer. Sige. I-flash ko tuloy yung question. Okay, I think nabasa nyo na yung question. Okay, let me read again the question. So, the goal for this question, for asking this question, is to maximize interaction. So, if you want to maximize interaction, what kind of questions you should avoid? O ano ba yung mga hindi mo dapat itanong para ma-maximize yung interaction? So, sa choices, is it A, informational, B, rhetorical, C, leading, D, divergent? Remember that the goal is to maximize interaction. So, ano yung dapat yung hindi mo itanong na question? Okay. Let us define first informational. Kapag sinabi nating informational questions, those are the type of questions that are asking for more info. It comes from concepts and going deeper into those concepts. So, it needs explanation. Does it maximize interaction? Yes. So, informational questions maximize interaction. So, pwedeng haba ng haba magkakaroon ng follow-up questions kapag nagtanong ka ng informational questions. How about rhetorical questions? So, those kinds of questions are usually asked in panel discussion, interview. So, kapag sinabi nating rhetorical, isa siyang question na pwede pang sundan ng another question. So, hindi na siya kasi it maximize interaction. How about leading question? So leading question is a type of question wherein it leads you to to arrive at a desirable response. Ibig sabihin there is only one response that will satisfy that question. So kapag nakuha na, nasagutan na yung question yun, that is the end of the questioning. So it doesn't maximize interaction. So that's the answer. So, yung leading question dapat, ang hindi mo itatanong kung gusto mong ma-maximize yung interaction. How about divergent? So, ito yung questions na nagma-maximize ng higher order thinking skills. So, it starts with the questions why and how. So, ang sagot sa number 26 is leading question. Kung mapapansin ninyo, yung rhetorical, informational, and divergent, iisa lang ang tinutukoy nila. So, lahat ng questions na yon ay nag-trigger ng higher order thinking skills. So, it always starts with how and why. Clear po ba? Naunawaan po ba? You can ask questions. Okay, let's proceed to number 27. The teacher's first task in the selection of media in teaching is to determine the blank. A. Choices of the students. B. Availability of the media. C. Objectives of the lesson. D. Is it A. Choice of the students. B. Availability of the media. C. Objectives of the lesson. D. Technique to be used. It's okay, Ma'am Beverly. You can still join us kahit late. Number 27 pa lang naman po tayo. Second question for tonight. Okay, very good. So, the correct answer is letter C. So, diba sa selection of content during our Prof Ed lessons, it was discussed that the objectives will be our guiding star. So, yun muna yung first task ng teacher sa selection of media in teaching. So, kailangang aligned sa objectives lahat ng strategies. Kaya, dapat mauunang piliin ng teacher is yung objectives of the lesson. Ano ba yung ituturo mo? Bago mo i-consider kung ano yung gagamitin mo at kung ano yung materials, kung ano yung strategies na employ mo, then you should know first what are your objectives so that you will be effective in teaching the particular subject matter. Okay, let's proceed to question number 28. So, 27, letter C. 28. Principal B tells her teachers that training in the humanities is most important. To which educational philosophy does he adhere? A. Existentialism. B. Perennialism. C. Progressivism. D. Essentialism. Again, Principal B tells her teachers that training in the humanities is most important. To which educational philosophy does he adhere? A. Existentialism. B. Perennialism. C. Progressivism. D. Essentialism. Okay, so iba-iba yung sagot nyo. May sumagot ng progressivism and may sumagot ng essentialism. Ano ba yung important word doon sa question? And who is the main character in the question? Teachers, the keywords in question number 38 are training in humanities is most important. So, here, it gives emphasis on the development of the human personality of teachers. So, anong view siya? Since it gives value on the human self, it tells us that this belief adheres to existentialism. So, wag kayong malilito porket meron siyang word na training, kailangan nating piliin yung progressivism. Yung pinagtutuunan ng pansin dito, the purpose of the training is for the humanities, the human, the human self of the teacher. So, meaning, it is more of existentialist and it doesn't focus on the training itself. Why not perennialism? Sabi ko nga kanina sa first part ng session natin, yung perennialism that is ageless, unchanging by Hutchins, and that is ageless, unchanging, and traditional. So, yun yung key terms doon sa perennialism. Sa progressivism naman, that is student-centered, learning by doing. So, continually develop yung learners sa progressivism, striking the iron while it is hot. And sa essentialism naman, it focuses on the basics. What are those basics? Yung basics na tinatawag sa essentialism is yung 3 R's. Hindi po humanities, hindi po values. Ang 3 R's na basics na tinatawag ay yung reading, writing, and arithmetic. So that view is for essentialism. Okay, let's proceed to number 29. Who among the following needs less verbal counseling but needs more concrete and operational forms of assistance? Is it the child who A. has mental retardation, B. has attention deficit disorder, should I repeat the question? Na-disconnect na naman po ako. Okay, nag-grasp na. Yes po. Para manote po. Si Ma'am Jeneline pa lang may sagot. So, A has mental retardation, B has ability, D has conduct disorder. Okay, very good. So, most of you have identified the correct answer. Since the question asked for the type of learner who needs less verbal counseling. So, sila yung learners na hindi So, anong type ng learner ang nangangailangan ng less verbal counseling needs more concrete and operational forms of assistance? So, bakit yung may attention deficit disorder ang mas nangangailangan nun? So, yun nga yung reason, di ba, kapag ang bata may ADHD, gusto nila, napapansin sila. So, they need more concrete and operational forms. Since hindi sila napapakali, mas kailangan nila ng bagay na ginagalaw, minamanipulate, So, they need more operational forms of assistance compared sa mentally retarded person and sa may learning disability and conduct disorder. Yung may mental retardation, mas nangangailangan sila ng psychiatric test para kailangan nila mag-undergo muna ng psychiatric test para maintindihan kung ano yung tumatakbo sa utak nila. And yung may mga learning disability naman, support, hindi concrete and operational forms of assistance ang kailangan nila. So, next, number 30. Number 30, after giving an input on a good paragraph, Teacher W asked her students to rate a given paragraph along the elements of a good paragraph. The student task in the level of blank. A. Application. B. Analysis. C. Evaluation. D. Synthesis. Again, after giving an input on a good paragraph, Teacher W asked her students to rate a given paragraph along the elements of a good paragraph. The student's task is in level of blank. A. Application. B. Analysis. C. Evaluation. D. Synthesis. Again, dun po sa mga hindi nakasunod kasi putol-putol daw. Ang correct answer po sa 29 is letter B, has attention deficit disorder. 30. Okay. After giving an input on a good paragraph, Teacher W asked her students to rate a given paragraph along the elements of a good paragraph. So the student's task in level of blank. Is it application, the analysis, the evaluation, the synthesis? So, I think you should get the correct answer kasi hindi ito yung type ng question na ganito. Parang last time, nagkaroon tayo ng same question with this. Not exactly the same, but parallel question. So, it's letter C, evaluation. Since mismo yung mga estudyante. Okay, so the correct answer for number 30 is evaluation. Tama po. Number 31. In the preamble of the Code of Ethics of Professional Teachers, which is not said of teachers? A. Let passers. B. Duly licensed professionals. C. Possess dignity and reputation. D. With high moral values as well as technical and professional competence. Again, in the preamble of the Code of Ethics of Professional Teachers, which is not said of teachers? A. Let passers. B. Duly licensed professionals. C. Possess dignity and reputation. D. With high moral values as well as technical and professional competence. Ito, isa to sa mga dapat alam nating lahat. This is Prof Ed 1. So, okay, all of you got the correct answer. It's letter A. So, lahat po ng nabanggit, nakalagay sa preamble of the Code of Ethics sa professional teachers, yung B hanggang C, lahat ng yan dapat tinataglay ng isang guro. So, we can only include ourselves in the roster of licensed professional teachers. And we should adhere to this preamble of the Code of Ethics. And hindi po doon nabanggit na let passers. Pero nakalagay doon na duly licensed professionals. So, it's letter A. Tandaan po natin yan ha. Kasi kung magkakamali pa tayo para sa question na to, nako, boomerang ngayon sa atin. Okay, this one needs a pen and a paper. So, I'm requesting everyone to have first a pen and a paper. And if you have calculator, much better. Kasi meron tayo ditong figures, mathematical figures. Meron na po ba kayong papel at ballpen? Any scratch paper will do. So, just tell me if meron na po kayong scratch paper para masagutan po natin ng maayos yung next item. So, in this question, we will be dealing with assessment of students' learning. Si Ma'am Janeline pala ang may papel at ballpen. Okay, tatlo pa lang silang may ballpen at papel. Ang mahiwagang papel at ballpen. Okay. Okay. Please listen carefully. I will be dictating the situation. Okay po. So, please follow my instruction. So, please make a table wherein it has 4 rows and 3 columns. Sa first column po, nakalagay is subject name. So, sa header ng table, nakalagay subject name. Then, after that column, on the second column, the standard deviation. Then, sa last column, Ronel score. Nasundan po ba yung instruction? Are you able to do the table correctly? So, meron siyang 4 rows and 3 columns. Okay. Sa leftmost po ng table, ilagay po ninyo yung subject sa second row na math, physics, and English. O ulitin ko, yung table po na pinapagawa sa header ay meron siyang 3 column. Una is yung subject name, second is yung standard deviation, and third is yung Ronel's score. Nasundan po ba? Si Ma'am Rowena pa lang yung nakakasunod. And okay, nasundan. Doon sa next row, lagyan nyo ng, di ba sabi ko doon sa leftmost, bago yung first column, lagyan ng math. Then sa subject mean, 56, standard deviation 10, then Ronel score is 43. Next row, katapat ng math na subject physics, then first column 41, second column 9, third column 31. Then last row, katapat naman ng physics, English, then after that, next column 80, second column 16, then fourth column 109. Nasundan po ba yung table? Nakompleto niyo po ba yung table? Let's make sure po na we're dealing with the same table, ano po, para mag-arrive tayo sa same correct answer. So, ngayon, okay. Here's the question. In which subject or subjects performance? Is it A? Yung question and yung options, ano? Is it A, English, B, English and math, C, math, D, physics? Nakuha po ba yung question? So again, the question is, in which subject or subjects did Ronel perform most poorly in relation to the group's performance? Basahin po nating maigi yung tignan po nating mabuti yung table. Wag po tayo basta-basta mag-answer kasi sayang po ng point. Ballpen ko. I will try to make a visual on how I'm going to show you the performance of Runel on each subject. So, gagawa po muna ako ng illustration. Ano? Score niya is 43. Okay. So here, there are three important things that must be clear in our mind. First one is the subject mean. Second is the standard deviation. Third is the score, the raw score of Ronel. Now, let us, in this situation, it is assumed that the scores of the students, including the classmates of Ronel, are normally distributed on a curve. And the normal curve is termed as the C curve or the normal curve. Di ba po, na-introduce siya sa assessment of learning wherein we make use of Z-score and Z-test. And ang important elements po na given na alam natin doon is about the subject mean. So, yung mean score, yun po yung average score ng students wherein doon po ibinabase yung performance ng isang estudyante. Kung i-compare po yung performance ng bawat student, ikino-compare po siya doon sa mean, sa mean scores. And ang mean scores po is nasa gitna siya noong normal curve. So, assuming that eto pong graph na to, yung normal curve, nire-represent yung score ng bawat estudyante. Since doon po sa math, example, since the subject mean for mathematics, the mean score for math is 56, nandyan po yan siya sa gitna. Score po doon ni Ronel is 43. Kung makikita po ninyo, nandito po siya sa left side hindi po siya mas mataas sa mean. Meaning, mas mababa po sa mean yung nakuha niyang score of Ronel is lower than the mean score. Therefore, he has a poor performance in math and with a standard deviation. Kapag naman po sinabing standard deviation, yun yung distance ng bawat score ng lahat ng students. Kung gaano po ba ka-spread yung scores ng student. So, imagine po. So, we just need to multiply the standard deviation, which is 10, and to the score of Ronel. And that is the distance of Ronel's score from the mean. So, ang distance po ng score ni Ronel mula doon sa mean is 43 times 10. And that is 430 standard units. Tandaan po natin, 40 standard units. 430 standard units since we have 43 times 10. So, yun po yung distansya mula sa mean. Paano naman po natin gagawin yung graph ng score ng performance ng student sa physics? I-try po natin. Nakita niyo po ba yung illustration ng mabuti? Tandaan po natin, importante po yung mean kasi doon ikinukumpara yung performance ng bawat student. Kapag mas mataas po siya sa average or sa mean score, ibig sabihin, maganda yung performance niya base sa score niya. Pero kapag mas mababa sa mean, poor po yung performance niya. So this time, igagraph ko naman po, gagawin ko yung curve para sa performance ni Ronel sa physics. The mean is 41. And po. So this one is the graph for physics. Yung score ni Ronel sa physics. So ang score ni Ronel sa physics is 31, Ronel sa physics. So ang score ni Ronel sa physics is 31, samantalang yung mean score ng buong klase is 41. Still, mababa pa rin po yung performance ni Ronel sa physics. Pero this time, if we will multiply, since the distance between 41 and 31 is 10 units, 10 po yung na score ni Ronel para makakuha ng mean score. We have to multiply that by 9. Yung 9 po na standard deviation na yun is yung distansya ng bawat score ng estudyante. So we have 9 times 10, that is only 90 standard units from the mean. Take note po, 90 standard units. So 10 times 9. So, ang mean score sa English is 80. So, yung nasa gitna po, the mean is 80. Then, ang score ni Ronel ay 109. Ibig sabihin, mas mataas po, maganda yung performance ni Ronel sa English. So, hindi na pwedeng English ang sagot. Tatanggalin na po natin siya sa options. Kasi mas mataas sa mean score yung score ni Ronel. So, hindi siya doon nagpe-perform ng poor or hindi poor yung performance niya doon sa English. So, we get the difference between 109 and 80 and that is equal to 29. Then, that's 29 times 16. Ano po? So, let's calculate 29 times 16. And that is 464. 464 standard units. Okay, ayan po. Kung makikita po ninyo yung graph, yung first two, since poor po yung performance niya sa dalawang submel. So, that is below the mean. So, meaning, una, sa math, below the mean yung performance ni Ronel. At doon naman po sa physics, naintindihan po ba yung explanation ko? So, ipagpapatabi ko kanina, yung sa math, 430 standard units below the mean yung performance ni Ronel. So, poor. Malayo. Malayo sa mean. And also, sa physics, still 90 standard units below the mean. Pero dito sa English, that is 464 above the 464 standard units above the mean yung performance ni Ronel, which means na yung performance niya doon sa English is excellent. So, tanggalin na natin yung letter A sa options and letter B since meron siyang English. Ngayon, ang pagpipiliin na lang natin is math and physics. So, balikan natin yung illustration. Sa math, 430 standard units below the mean. So, alin ang mas malayo doon sa mean? Is it yung physics or yung math? So, okay. Doon na po tayo sa dalawang subject, no? Sa graph ng dalawang subject. So, mas malayo po yung square ni Ronel sa mean dito sa math kesa sa physics. So, first po natin consider is kung below the mean or above the mean yung score niya. And doon po tayo titignan since 4 below the above the mean kasi okay. So, ang sagot po sa number 32 is math. Naintindihan po ba? You can ask questions para maklarify ko. I'm willing to answer your questions. I'm open for questions, especially we're dealing with numbers and we have to interpret those numbers. Feel free to ask your questions po. Sensya na po, nawalan ako ng signal kanina. Ang sagot po, Ma'am Jacqueline, is letter C, math. Based po sa arrangement na binigay ko. Hindi nyo po narinig yung explanation ko sa sa number 32. Or nag-grasp nyo naman po. May pa-drawing pa po ako dito, oh. This one. Alam ko kasi na mas naiintindihan natin sa mathematics yung illustrations kesa sa mere figures, kesa sa mere numbers. So, mas mai-interpret natin ang math and mas maiintindihan natin siya kapag may visuals. May tanong po ba kayo sa number 32 kung bakit yung sagot is math? So, if there is none, I think we can proceed. So, Ronel performs most poorly in mathematics for item number 32 and the correct answer is letter C. So the correct answer for 32 is letter C. Let's proceed to number 33. Okay. Teacher G's lesson objective has something to do with the skill of synthesizing. Which behavioral term is most appropriate? Again, Teacher G's lesson objective has something to do with the skill of synthesizing. Which behavioral term is most appropriate? Is it So 33 ang pagpipilian po ay A. Test, B. Assess, C. Appraise, D. Theorize. Good evening po, Ma'am Lolita. Nasusundan pa po ba? Please let me know po kung nasusundan niyo pa, teachers. So, the key word for number 33 is synthesizing. And synthesizing means putting together. So, alin po ba ang nagpapakita dito sa behavioral terms as putting together or synthesizing? Is it A. Test, B. Assess, C. Appraise, D. Theorize? Is it assess? Putting parts together is assess the word appropriate word for putting together. So yes, Sir Wilfred, the correct answer is letter D. Because if we're going to test or assess, that is evaluation and that falls under evaluation. So hindi po appropriate para sa word na skill of synthesizing ang test, assess. How about appraise? So appraisal, doon po siya papasok sa understanding. And the correct answer is letter D, that is theorize. That is to construct their own understanding. So putting together. So to generalize. To write something. So the correct answer is letter D. Tama po, Ma'am Jasmine, letter D. Let's proceed to next question. Okay. Standard deviation is the variability as mean is to blank. A. Coefficient of correlation. B. Central tendency. D. Discrimination index. D. Level of difficulty. Again, standard deviation is the variability as mean is to blank. A. Coefficient of correlation. B. Central tendency. C. Discrimination index. D. Level of difficulty. Okay. So, lahat po ng sumagot ng letter tama po kayo. So, this is a type of question, analogy type of question. So, yung standard deviation po is measures of variability. So, kapag sinabi nating variability, the spread of the student scores, the spread of the measurement. So, kasama po ng standard deviation yung tinatawag nating variance. So, the square of the standard deviation is the variance. So, SD squared is the variance. And for the central tendency, that is the mean, median, and mode. So, for coefficient of correlation, that is the line of best fit. Kapag sinabi natin correlation, yun naman yung relationship ng dalawang variables. So, mostly, the example for that correlation is X and Y. Halimbawa po sa assessment of student learning, say meron siyang variables na is the student's performance affected by uh, the medium of instruction. Halimbawa, yung medium of instruction is English and Filipino. So, yung performance ba ng students is affected ng medium of instruction. So, yung independent variable po doon is yung language used, which tapos yung dependent variable is yung performance ng students. So, ganun po yung coefficient of correlation. So, mostly, commonly used po siya pag i-graph siya, mayroon tinatawag na line of best fit. So, na-mention ko na po sa measures of central tendency, we have mean, median, and mode. Then, ito naman pong discrimination index and level of difficulty. Ang dinidescribe naman dito is about sa item analysis, assessment na po siya. So, level of difficulty of the questions used. So, dun po siya papasok sa item analysis. So, malayo po siya doon sa measures of variability and measures of central tendency. So, ang related naman po is measures of central tendency and measures of variability. Magkasunod po yan na lesson. So, sa assessment of learning po siya. Kung gusto nyong balikan para mas maintindihan. Pero yung binigay ko po is yung summary. So, if you agree with Rizal on how you can contribute to our nation's redemption, which should you work for? Is it A, opening our doors to foreign influence? B, upgrading the quality of the Filipino through education? C, stabilizing the political situation? D, gaining economic recovery? Again, the choices are A, opening our doors to foreign influence. B, upgrading the quality of Filipino through education. All right. Okay, nice to know that all of you answered letter B. So, the correct answer is letter B, upgrading the quality of the Filipino through education. If you can still remember the famous um, book written by Jose Rizal, the two books, we have The No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, wherein it served as the two books served as eye-opener to the Filipinos during the time that we are colonized by the different countries. And from that, he also write different poems, 'di ba? He mentioned about kabataan is pag-asa ng bayan. So with having that in our mind, if we already know that, we can say that um, the way that we can contribute to our nation is to upgrade the quality of education that we have. So, it's letter B. Hindi po political view ang pinapakita o ang inopen sa atin ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Okay, nag-comment si Sir Wilfred about item number 44. A kasi kung B, central tendency is mean and tinutukoy ang extreme scores kaya I mean. Do not overthink. This is just a simple analogy. So, yung standard deviation is measures of variability and sa mean is measure of central tendency. So, it's not referring to coefficient of correlation, Sir Wilfred. So, if you want, you can verify, but this is just a simple analogy. And I'm confident about it. Okay, let's proceed to number 36. Teacher T taught a lesson denoting ownership by means of possessiveness. He first introduced the rule, then gave examples, followed by class exercises, then back to the rule before he moved into the next rule. Which presenting technique did he use? Is it A. Combinatorial, B. Comparative, C. Part whole, D. Sequence? Again, I'll then give examples, followed by class exercise, then back to the rule before he moved to the next rule. Which presenting technique did he use? Is it A. Combinatorial, B. Comparative, C. Part whole, D. Sequence? It's okay, Sir Wilfred. Ganun po talaga minsan. Kaya po, pag kayo nag-take ng let, do not overthink. So, kung analogy, dun kayo mag-focus sa kung anong type ng question siya para makuha niyo yung tamang sagot. Okay, for number 36, this is part whole. 'Di ba? Hindi niya inintroduce ng sabay-sabay lahat. So, nagkaroon siya ng step by step. Una, nag-introduce siya ng rule. Tapos, using that rule, nagbigay siya ng example. In-apply muna niya yung first rule. Then, nagbigay siya ng exercises para ma-apply ng students yung rule and yung itinuro, ma-imitate, parang ma-model rin ng students yung ma-master yon, saka siya nag-introduce ng another rule para i-apply. So, that is part whole technique. So, madalas itong technique na to, ginagamit siya sa mathematics. Kasi 'di ba sa math masyadong complex. Bago ka mag-introduce, halimbawa, law of exponents, 'di ba? Hindi mo siya pwedeng ituro ng sabay-sabay kasi masyadong mababa ang mastery level na makukuha ng teacher. So, pakonti-konti lang. Rule, example, then exercises for the students. Another rule, then example, then the students will do another set of exercises. So, that is part whole. So, letter C, I'm sorry, it's letter C for number 36. Let's proceed to number 37. Theft of school equipment like TV, computer, and others by teenagers in the community itself is becoming a common phenomenon. What does this incident signify? So, is it A, our security guards, C, deprivation of Filipino schools, D, community's lack of sense of co-ownership? Alin po ba yung tinatanong mo, Ma'am Jacqueline? Is it letter C for what item po? So, for number 37, so yung pagnanakaw ng mga gamit sa school within a certain community, 'di ba, napapanahon talaga siya. Lalo na ngayon, nasa panahon tayo ng crisis. So, ano ba yung pinapakita nun? So, is it prevalence of poverty in the community? So, normal na sa atin yung nag-exist na problem, sa social problem dito sa Philippines is yung poverty. Pero hindi yun yung sinisignify niya. So, A is not the correct answer. B, inability of school to hire security guards. Kahit naman walang security guards, kung walang bad intentions yung mga tao, o wala silang negative thoughts about, hindi po nade-deprive yung Filipino schools kasi may alam po ang DepEd para sa mga schools, para sa mga equipments and facilities of the school. So, it's not letter C. So, it's letter D, community's lack of sense of co-ownership. So, ipinapakita lamang na since yung school po, yung mga nakatira sa community nagpapaaral sa school, 'di ba? So, it's lack of sense of co-ownership. Ninanakaw nila yung mga bagay na hindi nila dapat nakawin kasi nakakapag-contribute sa community. So, it's letter D. That's a negative Filipino trait. Di ba po sa subject natin, part siya ng values education. So, negative traits, Filipino traits, communities lack of sense of co-ownership. We have the manya, kasama nito yung yung manya na habit, ningas kugon, so kasama to doon. So, kung gusto nyong balikan, pwede nyo pong balikan sa mga past lessons or notes ninyo. So, let's proceed to number 38. Okay. As a teacher, what do you do? Actually, there's something wrong with the construction of the question. This is very subjective. Diba? As a teacher, what do you do when you engage yourself in major task analysis? So, iba-iba yung ginagawa natin. We have the freedom to choose. Dapat siguro yung tanong, as a teacher, what should you do when you engage yourself in major task analysis? Dapat ideal. So, we have the word major task analysis. Di ba po doon sa levels of Bloom's taxonomy, we have the word analyzing. And when we say analyzing, that is breaking down. Nasaan ba yung word na breaking down? Complex into subskills. So, it's letter B. Complex task into subskills. Yung A, test if learning reach higher level thinking skills. C, determine the level of thinking involved. D, revise lesson objectives. Etong sa A, hindi na siya analyzing. Since meron na siyang, if na-reach yung higher level thinking skills, this is evaluation. Letter C, determine the level of thinking involved. Still, this is reflection. This is evaluation. Then we have revised lesson objectives naman. It's not part of analysis. This is application. So the correct answer for 38 is letter B. Break down a complex task into sub-skills. Number 39. This is just a simple recall, only that it is applied in a sentence. So this is a kind of leading question, yung 39. Sabi dito, with itness, according to Conin, is one of the characteristics of an effective classroom manager. Which praise goes with it? So this is just a simple recall. So this is expecting for a single correct answer. Is it A, have hands that write fast? B, have eyes on the back of your heads? C, have a mouth ready to speak? D, have minds packed with knowledge? Again, I'll repeat the options. A, have hands that write fast. B, have eyes on the back of your heads. C, have a mouth ready to speak. D, have minds packed with knowledge. Okay, the correct answer is letter B. That is witness. Actually, Sir Wilfred, sabi kasi ni Sir Wilfred, so this is just to share it to you. Dami pa pala ko dapat matutunan sa Prof Ed. Buti na lang napadpad ako rito. Yes po, during my review kasi, there were topics introduced in the review center, which I think, kasi seryoso naman ako sa pag-aaral ko, and I know those things na na-encounter ko talaga through the studies, and I know those things na na-encounter ko lang siya sa review center. Kasi po, ang nangyayari, yearly, nag-upgrade yung content ng LET, and some of those things are not yet discussed within the classroom setup through the years from grade 1 to college, most especially in Prof Ed. May mga konsepto sa Prof Ed na hindi naman itunuro sa Prof Ed classes na naituro lang sa nung review. So, it is very important for us to attend reviews like this kasi nai-introduce base sa mga questions given na inira-rationalize yung hindi pa natin alam, nalalaman natin. So, that's it. So, let's proceed to question number 40. Malapit na tayo sa 50. So, 40, Ruben is very attached to his mother and Ruth to her father. In what developmental stage are they according to Freudian psychological theory? Is it A. Oedipal stage, B. Latent stage, C. Anal stage, D. Pregenital stage? Again, Ruben is very attached to his mother and Ruth to his father. In what developmental stage are they according to Freudian psychological theory? A. Oedipal stage, B. Latent stage, C. Anal stage, D. Pregenital stage. So actually, it's not psychological theory. This must be psychosexual theory. May mali sa question. Kasi si Simon Freud, dun siya sa psychosexual theory. And I will give you a mnemonics of development yung pasunod-sunod. And nakuha ko lang rin siya sa review center. And one effective way of remembering the sequence and 'di ba kapag nagme-memorize tayo sa enumeration, dapat may technique tayo para hindi tayo nakakalimutan. And ang maganda doon, na-memorize natin siya ng pasunod-sunod. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Sa let po, may instance, pero kailangan pumili ng pinakamalapit. And we have the so-called Electra and Oedipus or Oedipal complex. So, anong stage of development ba siya? So, eto, mnemonics. Sa stages of psychosexual theory ni Simon Freud, ang tinuro sa amin is OA palagi. So, OA as in OA, tapos yung palagi, PH, la, malaking L and A, tapos G and E. OA palagi. Ganito. Tandaan nyo lang, si Simon Freud, OA palagi. Sinishare ko to sa inyo kasi effective to. So, OA palagi, ayan siya. Kita nyo po, big letter O, big letter A, tapos fa, tapos la, tapos ge. So, O for oral, A for anal, then pa for phallic, la for latent or latency, then J for genital. Take note po. Take note that Simon Freud is OA palagi. So, sa first stage of psychosexual theory, we have oral, wherein nafo-focus yung attention ng bata doon sa mouth. Kaya meron po ba meron po tayong stage na tinatawag na sa oral, nagda-thumb sucking yung child. And dito naman po sa anal, natatransfer sa anus yung focus or attention ng bata. Kaya sa stage na to dapat ma-develop, papasok yung oedipal and electra. Kapag babae, electra. So, dito naman ang technique ko para ma-distinguish ko siya, kapag babae, naging nauuna, ladies first, E, electra, then O, oedipal, lalaki. So, ang attraction ng batang lalaki sa kanyang nanay at ang attraction ng anak na lalaki sa kanyang tatay. So, Electra for female child to his father, and for male naman is Oedipal or Oedipus sa kanyang nanay. Kung sa phallic stage, doon siya attracted sa opposite sex. Primary school sila na yan, so nawawala sa sexual yung focus ng bata. Then, sa genital naman, dito na yung papasok ng adolescence or sa maturity stage na siya. So, yun lang yung tinatandaan ko sa psychosexual theory ni Simon Freud. Sana makatulong po sa inyo. So, next, let's proceed to number 41. Ay, hindi ko pa pala na-confirm. Sa 40 po, opo, oedipal stage. Kasi kahit hindi siya wala talaga siyang oedipal stage, kailangan nating piliin yung oedipal stage, and that's letter A. 41. Teacher Y does norm reference interpretation of school scores. Nantok na ba ako? Which of the following does she do? Is it B, she uses a specified content as its frame of reference? C, she compares every individual student's scores with other scores? D, she describes what should be their performance. Again, options. Let me first read the question. Teacher, why does norm reference interpretation of scores? Which of the following does she do? Is it A, she describes group performance in relation to a level of mastery set? B, she uses a specified content as its frame of reference? C, she compares every individual student's scores with other scores? D, she describes what should be their performance. Naintindihan niyo po ba yung question? Or kailangan kong ulitin? So, for number 41, let us analyze the question. So, teacher, why does norm reference interpretation? Which of the following does she do? Ano ba yung ginagawa sa norm reference interpretation? Is it A, she describes group of performance in relation to a level of mastery? Hindi. So, since may level of mastery, in relation to a level of mastery, mayroong criteria or set of standards established. So, that is criterion reference, not norm. So, A is not the correct answer. B, she uses a specified content as its frame of reference. Parehas lang sa A. Meron siyang reference, frame, parang meron siyang ideal output na as reference. So, hindi. Parehas lang siya sa A. Letter C, she compares every individual student scores with others' scores. So, that is norm reference. The correct answer is letter C. Bakit naman hindi siya letter D? She describes what should be their performance. Upon describing what should be the performance of the students, the teacher is giving the criteria or the set of standards to observe. So, the correct answer there is letter C. Kasi yung A, B, and D ay criterion reference. Sa 40 po, ang correct answer is A, oedipal stage. Pwede na po ba tayo mag-proceed sa number 42? Please confirm po if we can proceed to number 42. Okay. Number 42. As a teacher, you are a reconstructionist. Which among these will be your guiding principle? A. I must teach the child every knowledge, skill, and value that he needs for a better future. B. I must teach the child to develop his mental powers to the full. C. I must teach the child so he is assured of heaven. D. I must teach the child that he can never have real knowledge of anything. Okay. Why did you choose letter A as your answer? So, in our STEM, you are being asked is the role of a reconstructionist. And reconstructivism is relating the prior knowledge to the present knowledge and for future. So, for option A, the teacher must teach the child every knowledge, skill, and value. So, yung foundation is important. Ibig sabihin, yung para matuto siya sa future or sa present. So, the correct answer is already letter A. Nandun na siya sa unahan. Bakit hindi B? I must teach the child to develop his mental powers. So, this is a role of a teacher as rational being or rationalist. So, letter C, I must teach the child so he is assured of heaven. So, malayo. Letter D, I must teach the child that we can never have real knowledge of anything. Hindi rin, negative. So, since we're talking about guiding principle, you can never have an answer which is negative. Kasi we are asked of what guiding principle we should consider as our guide. So, it's letter A. Inuulit ko po, hindi po letter B sa 42 dahil dito, tinutukoy yung teacher as a rational being or rationalist. Next. Okay, number 43, this is a simple recall. Kapag merong simple recall, yun yung kinakatakutan ko actually sa let. Kasi, kapag simple recall, dapat na-encounter mo talaga siya. Dapat nabasa mo talaga siya. Kasi kung hindi mo siya alam, wala. Mahihirapan kang piliin yung tamang sagot. So, mas gusto ko pa yung analysis type of question sa let kesa sa simple recall. Next, from whom do we owe the theory of deductive interference as illustrated in syllogisms? Is it A. Plato, B. Socrates, C. Aristotle, D. Pythagoras? Again, the options A. Plato, B. Socrates, C. Aristotle. Again, the options A. Plato, B. Socrates, C. Aristotle, D. Pythagoras. Please take note of this. Okay, I will be sharing the famous contributions of the four persons in the option. So there, the correct answer is letter A. It is Plato who whom we owe the theory of deductive interference. So, pag sinabi nating syllogisms, that deals with logic. And si Plato, he is also the author of the Republic, and his study revolves around introspection about the mind contemplating. So if it is mind contemplating, therefore, it has something to relate with logic or syllogisms. So that's why we owe the theory of deductive interference to Plato. How about Socrates? Ano naman yung famous contribution niya sa field of education? So, Socrates, according to him, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Again, according to Socrates, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. And si Aristotle naman, he is the father of sciences and the father of realism. Si Pythagoras, he has nothing to do with philosophies of education, but hindi siya famous sa Prof Ed, but he is known for, para sa akin, he is known, and this is true, he is known for his famous theory, the Pythagorean theorem, sa math, sa triangle, right triangles. Okay. Number 44. Teacher B engages her students with information for thorough understanding, for meaning, and for competent application. Which principle governs Teacher B's practice? Is it A. Constructivist, D. Gestalt, C. Behaviorist, D. Cognitivist? Again, Teacher B engages her students with information for thorough understanding, for meaning, and for competent application. Which principle governs Teacher B's practice? Is it A. Constructivist, B. Gestalt, C. Behaviorist, D. Cognitivist? Let's wait for the answers of others. Okay, for number 44, the correct answer is letter A. Why? So, let us highlight the words information for thorough understanding, for meaning, and for competent application. So, if you will understand the meaning and apply it for future use, then you have the view of constructivist. Ano naman yung gestalt? So, it deals with the body. Pag sinabing gestalt, kaya nga, di ba, kapag gestalt psychology, more on the body functions. Kapag naman behaviorist, dito yung views nila Jan Watson. Sa behaviorism, affected by the environment yung learner. Then, sa cognitivist naman, Sean Fadje, so mental abilities yung pinag-uusapan dito. Kasi it's more on about understanding. Although doon sa statement, merong understanding for meaning, pero meron siyang kadugtong na for competent application. So that's why you need to choose A, which is constructivist. Next question. Down to 6 questions. So here it is a factual question. So, what was the most prominent educational issue of the mid 1980s? Okay, Aristotle is the father of modern sciences and realism. Again, number 45, what was the most C. Accountability, D. Mainstreaming. Mainstreaming. Okay. The correct answer here is bilingual education. It's letter A. Now, I will be honest to you, but I know that all of the options are prominent educational issues. But since the question is asking about the exact, that is mid 1980s, I actually look for the answer of this question by searching it on the net, and it's letter A. So, it is for you to search about the values education issue, accountability, and mainstreaming. So I will look for my reviewers for these four prominent educational issues. And kapag nahanap ko siya, kasi nabasa ko rin siya before, and nakalimutan ko na kasi yung exact, sabi ko nga sa inyo, ayaw ko ng recall sa sa Prof Ed questions. Mas prefer ko yung analysis type of questions. So, eto, kapag hindi nyo siya nabasa, mahirapan kayo katulad ng experience ko. So, you have to read. Reading is very important. I admit the fact that I am not perfect and hindi ko rin perfect yung Prof Ed. Lalo na yung 2 years ko na siyang hindi nagagamit. Only some of the concepts are in Prof Ed are applied by teaching sa profession ko. Yun ang hindi ko nakakalimutan. Kaya still, yung mga questions kanina na na-rationalize ko isa-isa sa inyo, applied siya as a teacher, na-apply ko siya sa teaching, in real life teaching. So, pero yung mga ganitong knowledge part na may exact date, may issues na dati pa, syempre, sa 2 years na yon na ano ko na rin siya. Pero during review, talagang ano ko siya, kabisado ko siya kasi kailangan. So, we have the so-called purposive reading. So, I advise you to do that. Purposive reading. And read with understanding. Na yun yung pinaka-key. Let's proceed to number 46. So, a teacher or student is held responsible for his actions because he or she is blank. A. Again, a teacher or student is responsible for his actions because he or she is blank. A. Has instincts. B. Is immature. C. Has a choice. D. Has reason. Okay, correct. So, the correct answer for number 46, number 46 is letter C. So, responsable tayo sa mga bagay, sa mga actions natin dahil we have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom of choice. So, it's letter C. It's not because we are mature. Kahit anong edad, meron tayo. All of us, pantay-pantay tayo regardless of our age, of our culture, of our traditions and costumes. Since we are all humans, we have a choice, and that is the part of our freedom, the freedom of choice. So it's letter C. Number 47. For which may you use the direct instruction method? Again, for which may you use the direct instruction method? A. Become aware of the pollutants around us. B. Appreciate Milton's Paradise Lost. C. Use a microscope properly. D. Distinguish war from aggression. Options again. Become aware of the pollutants around us. B. Appreciate Milton's Paradise Lost. C. Use a microscope properly. D. Distinguish war from aggression. Ayan. So, kung natandaan nyo yung kanina na DDII, direct deductive, and indirect inductive, masasagot nyo to ng tama. Alright. For number 47, what is being asked is kung saan pwedeng gamitin ang direct instruction. Kapag sinabi nating direct, that is deductive from general to specific. Kapag sinabi nating direct, deductive, there are laws. Saan pwedeng mag-establish ng laws or rules para magturo? Is it A, become aware of the pollutants around us? So, hindi applicable yung direct, inductive siya. Para maging aware tayo, we can ask questions. We can apply questioning. For B, appreciate Milton's Paradise Lost. To appreciate that, syempre, i-introduce ni teacher paunti-unti. Then, for letter C, use a microscope properly. We have the word properly. So, kailangan mag-set si teacher ng rules, step-by-step procedure on how to make use of the microscope para magamit ng tama yung microscope. So, it's letter C. So, that is direct instruction method. So, for letter D, distinguish war from aggression. So, to distinguish, 'di ba? From lowest form of cognitive level of development. Distinguish, you can give meaning, paunti-unti. So, that is inductive in nature or indirect. So, the correct answer for 47 is letter C. Use a microscope properly. We have number 48. So, tatlong items na lang. The concept of trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus self-doubt, and initiative versus guilt are most closely related with the works of blank. Not actually closely related, di ba? Kasi eksakto. So, is it letter A, Erikson, B, Piaget, C, Freud, D, Jung? 48, the concepts of trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus self-doubt, and initiative versus guilt are most closely related with the works of blank. A. Erikson, B. Piaget, C. Freud, D. Jung. Okay, ito na naman tayo sa famous theories and famous persons. Okay, correct. It's letter A, Erikson. So, psychosocial development theory by Eric. So, kay Piaget, cognitive development. Kay Simon Freud, psychosexual theory. And kay Jung, I don't know kung famous ano siya kasi hindi siya na So, we are now down to last two questions, guys. Last two na lang. Number 49. What measure of Number 49. What measure of central tendency does the number 16 represent in the following data? Take note of the data. So, kailangan ulit ninyo nung pen and nung paper for accurate basis of your answer. May papel na po ba at ballpen? Okay, here is it. What measure of central tendency does the number 16 represent in the following data? 14, 15, 17, 16, 19, 20, 16, 14, 16. I'll repeat. 14, 15, 17, 16, 19, 20, 16, 14, 16. Options: A. Mode, B. Median, C. Mode and median, D. Mean. Oo, may copy ng question si Ma'am Beverly. Ang bilis sumagot ni Sir Wilfreda. Okay, let's see. You have the data right. Obviously, pipiliin niyo agad yung mode. Pero there are other options na merong mode as an answer, di ba? It's letter C, mode and median. So, immediately, you should eliminate B and D. Kasi wala siyang option na mode. Or in tama yung sagot na mode doon sa 49. But, kailangan mong i-verify kung median rin ba siya nung. Okay. Kapag median, para ma-determine mo yung median, kailangan mong i-arrange yung set of values from least to highest or highest to least. Kahit saan doon, ascending or descending, basta naka-arrange siya pasunod-sunod in a certain order. So, kung i-arrange natin siya, 14, 15, 17, 16, 16, 16, etong tatlong to 16, then 19, 17, 19, and 20. So, meron tayong 9 values. Ano yung nasa gitna niya? Since odd number siya, meron siyang middlemost value, and that is the fifth value, and that is 16. So, therefore, number 6 of the given set of data. So, the correct answer is letter C, mode and median. So, number 49 po, the correct answer is letter C. Hopefully, naintindihan po ninyo yung explanation ko kung paano kinuha yung answer. Yes. Yes po, Ma'am Imelda. The correct answer for number 49 is letter C. No. So, wag po papadala sa bugso ng damdamin, ha? Kapag pumipili ng sagot sa kapag ganitong uri ng question, may mode si A and may mode rin si C. Ang kailangan mong i-verify kung median rin ba yung 16. Eh di kung hindi median yung 16, ang pipiliin mong sagot is A. Pero since median siya, ang pipiliin mo is letter C. Okay po ba tayo doon sa number 49, teachers? Naunawaan po ba? So, isa pa yan. So, kung in-advise ko po kayo doon sa tips ko, kung nanood po kayo doon sa tips ko before, sabi ko 'di ba, namnamin yung questions. Ganon din sa options. Kasi kapag may same letter ng options, ang merong sagot katulad nito, parehas may mode yung A and C, kailangan yung i-check. Actually, this is not a multimodal type of data. Kapag sinabi kasi nating multimodal, halimbawa, since dito may tatlong 16, so let me give you an example of multimodal set of data. So we have 14, 15, 16. Ito. Sana malinaw. So, halimbawa, magiging multimodal lang siya kung mayroong tatlong values o higit pa na nag-repeat ng nag-repeat. Halimbawa, 14, 15, 16, 16, 16, 17, 17, 17, 18, 18, 18. Yun yung tinatawag na multimodal. Kapag naman dalawa, halimbawa, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, naulit ng dalawang beses yung 15 and 16, that's bimodal. Pero sa case na to, hindi siya multimodal. Sana po malinaw yon Sir Wilfred. Ano po, kasi misconception po. Clear po ba? Naunawaan po ba? May tanong po ba? Since last question na yung i-discuss ko after nito, kung hindi clear sa inyo yung um, bimodal, modal, and trimodal, you can ask it. Again, uulitin ko po, hindi siya multimodal. Kasi kung multimodal, tatlo o higit pang numbers ang nagre-repeat doon sa set of data. Sana po clear yun sa inyo, ano? Okay. Sa mga nahihirapan teachers dito sa pag-distinguish ng mean, ng median, at ng mode, allow me to explain it to you right now in slow, in the right pace. Okay. Yung, yung pinaka kilalang measures of central tendency is the mean. And yung mean, yung average lang po siya. So, given yung set of values, i-add siya lahat and i-divide sa kung ilang values meron. Okay po ba? Yung median naman, yun yung middlemost value. So, halimbawa, meron kang tatlong data, tatlong scores. So, merong middlemost value. Kailangan mo muna siyang i-arrange from least to highest or highest to least para ma-determine mo yung median. Tapos, kapag naman even yung number of values, say 4, 6, 6 values, 8 values, 10 values, kapag even siya, yung two middlemost term ang kukunin, then get the average. Then, yung pagkuha ng median. Halimbawa, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yan yung value sa data, no? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yung two middlemost value is 2 and 3. So, you add 2 and 3, then divided by 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, divided by 2 is 2.5. So, the median is 2.5. Okay. How about mode? Sa mode naman po, yun yung pinaka most frequently occurring value. Kaya doon kanina sa dataset, paulit-ulit yung 16 and that is the most frequent value. So that is the mode. Okay. Let's proceed to number 50. This is the last item. So number 50. The principle of individual differences requires teachers to blank. Again, the principle of individual differences requires teachers to blank. A. Give greater attention to gifted learners. B. Provide for a variety of learning activities in the class. Again, D. Prepare models for slow learners in the class. So, ayan, this will not be the first time that I will be mentioning this. The stem of the question, individual differences, it deals with diversity and it requires variety of instructional materials and strategies and also learning activities. So the correct answer for this question is letter B. Teachers should provide a variety of learning activities. So why not A, give greater attention to gifted learners. So we should each learner in a classroom should be treated equally. They should receive they all deserve quality education. So, letter C, treat all learners alike while in the classroom. Pag sinabing alike, pare-parehas. Then, D, prepare modules for slow learners in the class. So, hindi ma-address ng isang, ano lang, ang isang way or isang instructional material ang lahat ng estudyante. So, nag-focus lang yung letter D sa slow learners, wherein yung question is asking for the individual differences. So, that's why you have to choose letter B. And that is the correct answer. Provide for a variety of learning materials. So, habang naka-live pa po ako, and that's the last question for tonight, you can ask me some questions for clarifications. So, hopefully, I'm very hopeful, teachers, na nakagain kayo ng knowledge tonight kahit sa maikling oras na inilaan ko para sa inyo ngayong gabi. Sana marami kayong natutunan. Ayan po, yung mga hindi pa po member sa GC, mag-comment na po habang naka-live pa ako kasi iti-take note ko po para ipa-add ko po kayo maestrong Bicolano sa GC. And beside your name po, pakilagay po kung BED or BSED. And kung BSED po kayo, inuulit ko po sa mga bago pa lang dito sa bagong viewers dito sa YouTube channel na to, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell para po pag meron tayong mga live videos na katulad nito, live sessions sa mga susunod at related videos na ina-upload ni Maestrong Bicolano, maging updated po kayo. Ma-notify po kayo agad. Ma'am, Jovelyn Alferez. Ma'am, pa-comment po, Ma'am Jovelyn, comment po nung kung BSED or BED. And kung BSED po kayo, pakilagay po ng major. Salamat. (26 and 28). Wait lang po ha, check ko. Sa 26 po, letter C sa 26. And sa 28, it's letter A. Ma'am Jacqueline, 26 po is letter C and 28 po is letter A. Basta ipapasan ko na lang po itong slides ko with answer key kay Maestrong Bicolano para valid po and accurate yung answers na meron po kayo. Please don't miss the opportunity to ask questions, teachers. Saan na yung kay Ma'am Jovelyn? Hindi ko mamahanap ang pangalan. Alferez. Ayan, may nakita na rin akong math major. Out sa mga math major dyan. God bless you all, guys, and let's all do this for you to do it on let sana 2021 meron ng let ano para maka-move on na rin tayo, para ma-apply na natin yung pinag-aralan natin ng ilang taon. Social science, may Ragwal. Hello, Ma'am Mayan. After this, actually, tomorrow, I will be spending my day doing my luck portfolio. So, at least today, I am happy because my day is productive. And spending it with you really means a lot to me. And helping people and teaching people is really my passion. That's why I'm doing this. Jason Santillan. Hi, Sir Jason. Lahat po ng GC na ginawa ni Maestrong Bicolano, dun po lahat niya isesend itong mga pinresent kong slides ngayon. Ay itong mga diniscuss kong questions ngayon. Dun niya po ito isesend. Ito po yung na-take note kong teachers to add sa GC, Ma'am Jobeline Alferez, Math Major, Ma'am May Anragual, Soksay, Major, and a BEd teacher, Sir Jason Santillan Demiar. Meron pa po bang nag-comment na hindi ko napansin na favor po ng teachers, kung meron pong nag-comment kanina na hindi ko na-notice na gusto pa-add sa GC, paki-comment down na lang po ulit para mailagay ko. 3 lang po kasi yung na-note ko. And yung nag-direct message po sa akin kanina, na-note ko na po yun. Don't worry. Okay. So, kapag may tanong si Sir Wilfred, sabi ni Sir Wilfred, paano po yung skewed and skewed to the right? Thank you for that question, sir. So, okay. Since I'm still reconnecting ngayon, gabi na no. So, I will just schedule a separate session for that. Pero kapag, just to give you a short explanation about it. Kapag sinabi kasing skewed to the left, nasan ba yung tail? So, most of the scores are nasa left. So, ang performance is poor. Kapag skewed to the right, most of the scores ay nasa right. So, yung tail niya is nasa left. So, kapag nasa right, most of the students scores, I will give you a separate session for that sa assessment of student learning, dealing with those questions. Okay lang po ba yun? Kasi ngayon lagi akong connected and lagi akong reconnecting. So, mas okay po siguro kung we will allot a separate session for that para mas maintindihan natin. And it's a special concept for assessment of student learning. So, tonight, since it's already, ng oras na ba? 9:40? It's already 9:40 in the evening and that's my sleeping time already. And I hope that you understand because I have other steps to attend tomorrow. So allow me to end this session. Thank you so much for those who are able to attend this part 2 of the session and yung kanina rin po na naunang session natin. And I'm hoping for more sessions with you guys. God bless you all. And this is Teacher Debs, always willing to share and also believes that nothing beats preparation. So let us all make ourselves prepared for the upcoming let for you to make it. And thank you, thank you, thank you so much, and bye bye.